The headline sounds explosive. Amanda Anisimova has revealed the real reason she lost to Alex Eala, and her confession has supposedly gone viral. But there is an important problem that has to be addressed before we go any further. As of the latest confirmed reports available, Anisimova and Eala were scheduled to meet in the third round of the 2026 Cincinnati Open on Monday, August 17th. Their match had not yet produced a confirmed result in those reports. That means any claim that Anisimova had already lost to Eala, walked off the court, or delivered a post-match explanation needs to be treated carefully. The supplied reference material presents those events as completed, including alleged comments from Anisimova. However, the current reporting available today places the matchup before the match rather than after it. That distinction matters because this channel is not going to turn an unverified claim into a fake quote just because it makes a stronger headline. Welcome back to the channel. If you follow Alex Eala's remarkable rise, you already know why this matchup has become one of the most talked about battles of the Cincinnati tournament. And if you want more coverage that separates the real developments from the viral claims surrounding the sport, make sure you're subscribed. Because this story has a much bigger angle than one dramatic headline. The confirmed story begins with the matchup itself. Alex Eala entered Cincinnati as one of the tournament's most intriguing players, while Amanda Anisimova arrived as the world number 10 opponent standing between the Filipino star and another major breakthrough. GMA reported that the two players were meeting for the first time in their careers, making the Cincinnati clash especially significant. Eala had already advanced to the third round after her second-round opponent, Elena Gabriela Ruse of Romania, retired because of a right foot injury. At the time of the retirement, Eala was leading 6-1, 3-0. That result officially put Eala into a matchup with one of the highest-ranked players remaining in her section of the draw. And that is where the story becomes fascinating. Anisimova was not simply another opponent. She was the world number 10 player, and Eala had never faced her before. Multiple reports emphasized that this would be their first career meeting. That removes one obvious advantage from the equation. Neither player could rely on previous head-to-head experience to predict exactly how the other would respond once the match began. Anisimova had already been asked about Eala before the match. Tennis Head reported that the American discussed facing Eala for the first time after defeating Zeynep Sönmez in straight sets. The comments highlighted the attention around Eala's season and the atmosphere that has followed her during this North American hardcourt swing. That atmosphere is not a minor part of the story. Eala's rise has created an unusually passionate Filipino following at tournaments outside the Philippines. Her matches have attracted crowds carrying Philippine flags and supporters who have turned ordinary tournament sessions into highly emotional sporting occasions. That background helps explain why the Cincinnati matchup attracted so much attention before a ball was even struck. The supplied reference goes much further, claiming that Anisimova later admitted she had never played anyone quite like Eala and praised the Filipinas' season and fan base. Those comments may reflect remarks made around the matchup, but the exact post-match context is not established by the current confirmed reports available to us. Therefore, they should not be presented as a verified confession about a loss. Verify, that does not mean the underlying storyline is meaningless. Quite the opposite. The interest surrounding Eala is real, and the confirmed pre-match coverage shows that Anisimova was aware of the challenge. The American knew she was facing a player with an increasingly visible fan base and a reputation for producing difficult matches against highly ranked opponents. The bigger question, then, is what could actually make this matchup difficult for Anisimova? Rankings provide one answer, but tennis rarely works that simply. Eala's game has developed into one that can frustrate opponents who prefer to dictate immediately. Her ability to absorb pace, redirect the ball, and change the rhythm of a rally can force an opponent to win the same battle repeatedly rather than simply overpowering her once. Anisimova, meanwhile, brings a very different challenge. A world number 10 player does not reach that position by accident. Her ranking reflects sustained results against elite competition and the ability to perform under pressure. That is why the matchup was so compelling. Eala was trying to add another major name to her growing list of victories, while Anisimova was facing a player whose momentum had made her much more dangerous than her ranking alone might suggest. There was also the psychological dimension. Eala had already shown that she could walk onto a big stage without being intimidated by the reputation on the opposite side of the net. That matters against a player like Anisimova because the American's ranking can create pressure in both directions. She is expected to win, while Eala can enter with the freedom of a player trying to prove that she belongs at this level. But this is exactly where the title's phrase, "the real reason she lost," becomes dangerous if treated as established fact. A tennis match can be decided by serve percentages, return quality, break points, unforced errors, physical condition, tactical adjustments, or a combination of all of them. Without a confirmed final score and verified post-match comments, claiming one specific reason would be speculation rather than journalism. The current evidence instead tells us what happened before the match. Eala reached the third round. Anisimova reached the same stage. Their meeting was scheduled at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio. Reports identified Anisimova as world number 10 and described Eala as the tournament's 17th seed. The match represented Eala's opportunity to claim another top-level scalp on one of the biggest stages of the North American hardcourt season. And that context is essential because Eala's opponent was not merely a highly ranked name placed in her path. Anisimova has experienced the biggest stages of the sport herself. That creates an interesting contrast. One player is carrying the momentum of a breakthrough season, while the other has already experienced the pressure of being expected to win against the world's best. The atmosphere could add another layer. Reports and commentary around Eala have repeatedly focused on how strongly Filipino supporters have rallied behind her. For Eala, that support can become emotional fuel. For an opponent, especially one playing in the United States, it can create a strange dynamic in which the nominal home environment does not necessarily feel like home. That is probably the most credible part of the Eala effect conversation. It is not necessary to claim that fans caused an opponent to lose. There is no way to establish that without evidence. What can be said is that a loud and partisan crowd changes the emotional environment of a match. Players have to communicate, serve, reset between points, and maintain concentration while thousands of spectators react to every momentum swing. Anisimova herself reportedly acknowledged the size of Eala's following before the matchup. That makes the atmosphere part of the confirmed pre-match narrative, even if the alleged post-match confession remains unverified. And then there is the tactical question. If Eala was going to defeat a player ranked inside the world's top 10, she would need to do more than simply survive. She would have to find moments where Anisimova could be moved, forced into uncomfortable positions, or prevented from controlling points with her preferred patterns. That is the kind of challenge that separates a promising player from one capable of consistently competing with the elite. For Anisimova, the task would be just as clear. She would need to prevent Eala from settling into a rhythm. If Eala began reading her patterns comfortably, the pressure could shift quickly. The American would then have to find ways to shorten points, protect her service games, and avoid allowing the crowd or the opponent's confidence to become part of the match's momentum. This is why the matchup generated so much attention before it even began. It was not simply world number 10 against a lower-ranked challenger. It represented a test of whether Eala's recent rise could continue against one of the strongest players in the field. Current coverage described it as a heavyweight third-round clash, and the fact that it was their first meeting made the tactical uncertainty even greater. Now, if the post-match comments described in the supplied reference are eventually confirmed by a reliable source, they could add another layer to the story. Anisimova reportedly praised Eala's season and her fan base. But there is a major difference between saying that before a match and saying it after suffering a defeat. The timing changes the meaning completely. That is why the exact source and timing of the alleged confession matter. A viral clip can move faster than verification. A quote can be reposted thousands of times before anyone checks whether it came before or after the match. A headline can transform a compliment into an admission. And suddenly a player appears to have confessed something that she may never actually have said in that context. For a sports news channel, that is precisely where accuracy has to come before drama. So, rather than pretending the outcome is already confirmed, the real story is this. Amanda Anisimova was preparing to face Alex Eala for the first time, and the matchup carried enormous significance for both players. Eala had the momentum and the passionate support. Anisimova had the ranking, experience, and status of a top 10 player. That combination created a genuine high-stakes test. And there was another reason people were watching closely. Eala's Cincinnati run was part of a broader period in which she had been gaining attention for her results against higher-ranked opponents. Tennis 365 described her as being in the midst of the best run of form of her young career and suggested that further success could create another significant ranking breakthrough. That means the Anisimova matchup was never just about one night. It was another measurement of where Eala stood against the established hierarchy of women's tennis. Beat a world number 10 player, and the conversation becomes much louder. Lose a close match, and the experience still provides information about what needs to improve. Either way, the opponent represents a useful benchmark. The bigger question now is what happens after Cincinnati. The US Open is approaching, and every major match during this part of the season carries extra importance. Players are trying to build confidence, protect ranking positions, and arrive at Flushing Meadows with the kind of form that can turn a good summer into a defining Grand Slam campaign. For Eala, the opportunity is particularly meaningful because she is no longer being discussed simply as an unknown prospect. Opponents are preparing for her. Crowds are showing up specifically to watch her. Media attention is growing. And when a player reaches the point where a world number 10 competitor is being asked about her before their first meeting, the status of that player has clearly changed. That does not mean Eala is guaranteed to become a top 10 player. It does not mean every tournament will produce another upset. Tennis is too unpredictable for that. But it does mean the standard has changed. The next challenge is consistency. One breakthrough win creates attention. Repeated victories against elite competition create a career trajectory. And that brings us back to Amanda Anisimova. If she ultimately did lose to Eala, as the title claims, then the most important question would not simply be whether the crowd affected her or whether Eala's confidence overwhelmed her. The real question would be which tactical areas decided the match. That is the information that can actually help explain a defeat at this level. Was Eala returning more effectively? Did she win the longer exchanges? Did Anisimova struggle to convert opportunities? Did Eala protect her serve when the pressure increased? Or did the match turn on a few crucial points? Those are the questions a legitimate post-match analysis should answer once the official result and statistics are available. And if the alleged confession is confirmed, it should be presented in that context rather than treated as proof that Eala's fans somehow caused the defeat. A player's comments about an opponent's ability, confidence, or support can reveal how they experience the match, but they do not replace the evidence found on the scoreboard. There is also something important about Eala's fan phenomenon that deserves attention without exaggeration. Filipino supporters have given her matches a distinctive atmosphere, and that visibility can help introduce new audiences to women's tennis. When a young player becomes a source of national excitement, the impact can extend beyond one tournament. More people watch. More young athletes see a pathway. More attention reaches a sport that often struggles to break through to audiences outside its traditional markets. That is why the Eala story has become bigger than a single ranking number. The tennis itself remains the foundation, but the audience surrounding her has become part of the story. Every tournament now offers another opportunity to see whether the momentum continues and whether Eala can translate fan enthusiasm into sustained results against the best players in the world. For Anisimova, meanwhile, the matchup represented another test of her own standing. Being world number 10 means opponents are coming onto court with nothing to lose. They are motivated by the opportunity to defeat someone established near the top of the rankings. That can make every match more complicated than the ranking difference suggests. So if the post-match confession eventually becomes fully verified, listen closely to what Anisimova actually says. Not just the dramatic sentence that gets clipped for social media, but the complete explanation. Was she talking about Eala's tennis? Her movement? Her returning? Her mental strength? The crowd? The occasion? Or simply the challenge of facing a player she had never encountered before? The details matter. As of the confirmed reporting available now, we cannot responsibly say that Anisimova has revealed the real reason she lost, because the available reports had her preparing to play Eala rather than reflecting a completed defeat. GMA and other current reports identified the Cincinnati meeting as a first career encounter, while the event coverage placed the match on the August 17th schedule. That is not a weakness in the story. It is actually what makes the moment worth watching. The outcome will determine whether the viral narrative has a factual foundation. If Eala wins, the next chapter will be about how she solved a world number 10 opponent in their first meeting. If Anisimova wins, the conversation will shift.